Hello everyone and welcome to another video. For today's video we're stepping away from the Wars of the Roses, we're moving away from the Crusades, we're even going past the Napoleonics. I still do content on them, or I plan to do content on that, I promise. No, today we're heading to World War II. Specifically we're heading to World War II at night because I'm very lucky. Today I received in the post a preview copy of 0200 Hours Night Raids in World War II. This is put out by Grayfinale Games, and Graham from Grayfinale Games got in touch with me and asked me if I'd be interested in basically getting a preview copy of 0200 Hours. He'd seen the Test of Honor stuff that I've put out there and he enjoyed that, and he wanted to know if I'd be interested in looking at 0200 Hours, which I hugely am. So what I thought we would do is today we're going to have an in-depth look and unboxing of the starter set here that I've been sent, and then as we get towards the release date, hopefully there'll be a couple more battle reports, maybe obviously a video on my final thoughts of this after playing a few games, and if I can then I'll look at some painting videos as well. I'm really excited to get my hands on this because I love films like Where Eagles Dare, Heroes of Telemark, Guns of Navarone. Those are the kind of World War II games I like, which are sort of small scale, narrative driven things. I do play other World War II games like Flames of War and Bolt Action, but I really do enjoy sort of small, compact World War II games, and since this was announced it's something I've been following. So please join me as we have a look at this awesome looking compact box, which I can already feel is rather full. Okay, so here is the starter box itself, and the first thing that I got to say is I really do like the artwork, and that's simply because it basically gives you a great impression of what the game is about before you've even looked at the rulebook or the contents. And Night Raids in World War II, I like the guys that are sneaking up on the sentry. Inside this box you are meant to receive 12 British SAS, 18 German sentries, 6 guard dogs, 80 gaming cards, 8 custom dice, 108 counters, and a 64-page rulebook. Now the miniatures are made by Wargames Atlantic, and I've put together a few of their sets before, and everything that I've worked on of theirs I've been impressed with. So I'm going to be interested to see how they've tackled World War II. Basically I think we should just get stuck into this. Why can't I open boxes? I really like the size of this box. It would really stand out in a gaming store shelf. It's not over large for what you get. It actually does a nice compact size. So let's have a look at what we have. So to start off, we have sprues and bases. So bases, 1, 2. These look like the Germans. Yep, I can see some dogs on there. So 1, 2, 3 sprues, I think, of Germans, and these look like SAS. Sorry, I just saw a Sten gun, so I assume that's SAS. And oh, another one of bases. Okay, and then oh, so we have a organizer. That's not actually listed on there. That's really cool. I actually really like that. So I assume that would be to stop all my tokens going everywhere. We have the tokens themselves, so ready to be pushed out. And we have the rulebook. So where to start with? Well, I think we should probably start with what's sensible. Let's have a look at the rulebook. Okay, so the rulebook is a really nice size, A5, and it is 64 pages long. Now, the first thing I'm really pleased about is there's an index, because I have a thing about rulebooks that don't actually have indexes. So that's basically passed my test. It has an index. The rulebook has been set out really nicely. Now if you want a copy of this rulebook, you can get a copy of the PDF rulebook on their website right now. But if you go onto the Grayfinale Games website, and there's links down below in the description to the 0200 Hours section of the website, if you subscribe to their newsletter, you should get a code and be able to download the rulebook for free. Now I don't know if that's going to be a permanent offer, but it certainly was at the time of the making of this video. So like all good rulebooks, it has an introduction section and lovely artwork. This is quite nice. There's a section on other World War II secret soldiers, including things such as the SBS, the Chindits, the OSS, and Gestapo, Soviet Special Forces, and even a list of notable missions that you might want to draw some inspiration from. It goes through the types of weapons that you'd expect to see, such as rifles, submachine guns, handguns, and also how suppressed and silenced weapons worked. A good section on the gaming components. Now we'll have a look at these in a section in the unboxing, but it's always nice to actually see this in a rulebook. Now the game is played on a small scale board, which is quite nice, so you don't have to worry about getting a big 6x4 out for this one. A 2x2 or a 3x3 will do by the looks of things. The section that breaks down what all of the abilities are on each of the cards. So aim, react, brawn, smarts and guts. So my feeling is this game straight away is if you've played Test of Honor, and I've played a lot of Test of Honor, then you'll already be used to how this game is going to work. Recruitment cards for the various armies, and then how to deal with the resolution of actions using the dice. Now this game uses special dice. There's white dice and black dice. The black dice or grey dice represent the sort of stealthy maneuvers, whereas the white dice represent noisy and fast actions. So some actions may actually have a pool of both sets of dice, and the white dice are more likely to alert guards to your presence, whereas the black dice are more likely to basically get you hidden or to do something stealthily. The system works very basically using chevrons. You'll see on each of the character cards they've got a number of chevrons. So this character underneath his aim has 3 chevrons, and that means that when you roll the dice, if it comes up with a result of 1, 2 or 3 chevrons, it's a success. If a character has 2 chevrons, they only score a success if you roll 2 or 1 chevrons. The medal icon that's on the dice means you may be able to trigger a medal effect, so effectively a critical hit or a special ability. Alerts indicate a fighter is given away his position, so he becomes visible to the guards. Stealth means that you basically can go back into stealth mode, or you can do some other type of actions that are more covert. The game turns work very similar to the way that Test of Honor works, which has all of the tokens, activation tokens in a bag, and then starting with the defender, a player will draw a token without looking to see who goes first, or rather not who goes first, but which type of unit can activate. The rulebook is really nicely laid out with diagrams and examples throughout for each of the actions, so it's clear what the rules are actually trying to illustrate. Each action is described, as well as the dice that you will roll to resolve that action. A section on targeted actions and responsive actions, such as ducking back and defending, so that's already got me interested because I like being able to react to things. I don't like it when a vehicle can just drive up to me and shoot me and I can't do anything about it. And then it lists other roles that you may have to do involving trauma and recon. And then there is a good section on weapons. So here you can see the dice you'll roll. So for a rifle, it's 1 white dice, so because of the noise. But if we go down here, we look at the combat knife, it's got a black dice there, as it's more stealthy. So over here, we have a section on special rules, which may apply to specific weapons or to characters. So these are abilities that a character may have or characteristics of a weapon. Rules on pairs of fighters and specialists. Everything looks really well laid out and clear, which is nice, but it was similar in the Test of Honor book. A whole section on terrain. Alarm levels for dealing with the Germans. And this is one of the things I'm really interested in, is how the alert system works and how do the Germans actually get alerted and get their reinforcements on the table. Order cards and event cards. And that looks like it. That's the system. So we are looking at a nice, hang on, let's just have a look. If we start with the gaming overview, so 14 to 38. So we're looking at just 24 pages of rules, which is fantastic. Now we're into the sections on actually how to recruit forces and play a battle. And then all sorts of scenarios. So the first basic scenario is called Hunted, which will be the first one that I'm going to attempt to play. It's already picked your forces for you and given you some rules to basically get used to the system. It then introduces more rules and you get more missions. So I'm not going to go through them all, but you've got things such as sabotage, evade, capture, intelligence missions. There's quite a lot of missions in here. There's 8 missions from the start. Then at the back we've got a quick reference guide, and then we're into the index. So a very compact concise rulebook. Now I know the rulebook, if you want to buy it on its own, you can get it with the tokens and the cards without the miniatures, but it is available to download as a PDF. So very impressed with the rulebook, mainly because everything looks like it's very, very easy to reference. I can't actually speak for the actual rules themselves yet because I haven't actually played it. So what we're going to do is we will have a battle report, but there will be a review of the system and my final thoughts on that at a later date. Right, let's have a look at the pile of plastic. So the first thing we'll do is just move the bases to one side, and let's deal with whichever one of these comes up first. Now this looks like the SAS sprue. So you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bodies on here. So as it said, you can make 12 in total, and already there are a lot of options on here. I can see combat knives. We've got Sten gun and Thompson as well. Silenced pistols. That's really nice because I haven't seen those before on any other plastic sets. So Commando or any of the metal SAS models. Down here, we've got a sniper rifle. Lots of arms. I'm going to see you can have some fun doing this. I know a couple of people that will love this set. Really nice to see the backpacks down there, all the parachutes. So some flares, radios, and a vast array of different heads. So we've got ones in forage caps, we've got helmeted ones, and ones doing all sorts of gnarly expressions. So that will be very nice to put together. I'm not entirely sure of the composition of these yet, so before I can stick any models together I need to check how many can be armed with certain weapons, or is there any kind of restrictions on the number of items that you can have. So there's 2 sprues of those SAS, which would mean that everything else is now the Germans. Now this is the sprue I've actually been looking forward to, and it's mainly because of this. They've got plastic dogs on them, which is fantastic. I saw that the rules called for guard dogs, and before they released any sort of images of the sprues, there was an image of a German with a guard dog, and I just assumed it would be metal. But to see that it's actually a plastic model is fantastic, and in fact there's 2 on each sprue. So we've got one Alsatian up here, and then we have another one sitting down there. The Germans appear to be, well, some of them wearing long coats, other ones are wearing sort of more of the typical German uniform that you'd see in these films. As you can probably tell, I am not an expert on World War II German uniforms. Give me heraldry for the Wars of the Roses, be able to tell you who it is, which battles they're in, and when they died. Show me a field grey, and I start to get a bit confused. But I already know how I'm going to paint these up. So they're all going to be getting a very, very simple coat of field grey, and I'll be working that up from there. Again, a nice selection of heads and facial expressions. The fact you've got some officers in their caps there is really nice, and a unhelmeted option as well. As you can see, we've got lots of weapon choices. Typical, we've got MP40s on here, Kar 98 rifles, and I did see, where is it? There it is. There we go. There is a torch there. Fantastic. So lots of options. You can actually have them so they're set up like they're searching. There are some arms holding reins as reins. They're not reins. They're not going to be riding the dogs into battle. A very, very full sprue, and there's 3 of these. So what I'll probably do is try and get a few of these stuck together, so I can pop them up at the end of the video just so we can see what they're like. But yeah, very, very impressed. So I'm assuming that these will be going on sale through Wargames Atlantic generally. What is nice on here is you've got the metal gorgets that you can put on the figures to indicate that they're the military police, the Felgen armor, the Felgendarmerie, the military police, the German military police. I need to really work on my pronunciation if we're going to be doing this. So overall, it's a really, really packed sprue. I really like the heads. Alsatian head is just there. I meant to say that when we were going round. So yeah, it's a really, really nice set. I'm going to get some of these stuck together so I can show you what they're like at the end of the video. I just need to double check everything that I can actually have on the German side, because knowing my luck, I'll just make a load of things that can't be used. Right, let's have a look at the cards. Okay, so the cards are many for this game, but as always, not all of them are going to be relevant. So it's a nice card stock. It's not too thick. It's not too thin. These would probably benefit from going in card protectors, especially if you're going to be playing this game a lot, which hopefully you will be. We've got a couple of reference cards for standard issue weapons and actions. We have the trackers for the alert level, the alarm level for the Germans. And then we're into the SAS troopers. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 SAS troopers, 2 SAS sergeants, and a card for the SAS officer. From the German side, as you can see, I've already opened the cards here, but then I dropped them and they went everywhere, so they haven't come out in the order that they did originally. You have a here officer. You have 2 here sergeants. You have some individual sentry cards for those guys who are patrolling on their own. They're probably going to be the unlucky ones. And then you've got some cards for the pairs of sentries. We've got the we have cards for the military police. We have 1, 2, 3 of those, 4 of those, and then we have 3 sets of cards for the dog handlers. So that covers everything that you're going to get in this box and that you're going to be able to build straight off of the bat. We then have some veteran abilities. Now these are things like Deadly Hands, Hard to Hit, Camouflage Expert, and these will give out some additional abilities as you progress in the game. Now the game does seem to have the progression system. That was one of the great things about Test of Honor, was how each game could be linked, and your guys got gradually better, and it doesn't seem to be any different in 0 to 100 hours. So your squad is you can run a few games and your squad will develop over time. We have references here for the weapons, for the requisition cards, so silence weapons, long range weapons, demolition charges, radios. Sets of orders, so we have ambushed, combined arms, diversion, engage, hold, overwatch, prowl. So a whole selection of these these cards to reference. And then we have a big stash of events. Now I love things like these, things that can turn the game around, things that can just throw everything into chaos. So we've got things like bad intelligence, change direction, a Dear John letter, eager troopers, lapse of discipline, malfunction, a new patrol route. So all of these things that can scupper the attackers unleashed. It's got to be about the dogs. When a dog handler is taken out, the freed guard dog runs havoc before disappearing into the night. Roll a white dice. On a chevron or a medal result, the nearest attacker suffers a hit. On a highball result, an alert result, the nearest defender suffers that. So the dog just goes off, could end up attacking your own guards. Well, I know what will be happening to me. The cards look great, they feel great, and you get a lot of them in the starter set. Now, I imagine that each of the sets, as they come out, will have their own sets of cards, which is a great way to keep your rules referenced easily. Next up, we have the dice. Now, the dice, I mean, what more can you say about them? The dice, they're fully custom dice because of the symbols. They're lightweight. And I have no idea if that's a good roll. I imagine if I've rolled it that it's not. But what more can you say? These they're nice dice. If you want more of these, then you can buy extra dice on the website, I've seen. But the great thing is, of course, this can all go into this lovely little organizer. I'm so impressed with this. I wish more people did this. It's such a simple thing. There we go. I don't have to go around finding bags and everything for these. So there we go. Probably one of my favourite things. That's awful. The game looks great, but I love an organizer. Finally, we have the tokens. Now, there are 2 sheets like this. We have ones here for trooper actions and character actions. We have patrol route tokens here. So the German player before, or I say the German player, the defending player, before they set up, has to set where their sentries are going. So you pop those out. We have lights to show which areas may be being scrutinized. Alert tokens, time tokens, objectives and demolition charges down here. Now these are all just push out card counters. They're not MDF, but they come out nice and easily. They don't rip as you take them out, as long as you're pushing from the back. So give me a second and I will get all of these out and we'll chuck them in the organizer. And here are all of the tokens punched out, so you get a lot. I think it's 108 to be exact. But again, not all of them are necessarily going to be relevant for every mission, but you are well covered. I don't think there's any worries about running out of the tokens that you need, especially if it's just for the starter set. So what I think I'm going to do now is, you've had a look at all the components. I've been through the rule book. I'm going to have a look at sticking together maybe a couple of those models, and we'll just see how they fare, and then I'll sum up. Okay, so I've stuck a couple of these together. Now, there is no assembly instructions within the box. That may change, I'm not sure. But there is full assembly instructions on the Grey Fanal Games website, so you can just go on there and download those for free. It just takes 2 seconds. So I've stuck together a basic German sentry here. Now, the bases are quite interesting. So I assumed that they would be this side up, where you've got the slight texture. The hole is actually there to allow for magnets. So if you want to put in any little magnets, like these kind of magnets that you have here, then you can, for storage. So you put them this way up, and that's because of the pudding base that's on the bottom of the model will now sit flat with the rim. So all you can do is fill that with some putty or green stuff or whatever, or you don't have to, just fill it with glue, and then it should sit flush. There we are. There is a basic German sentry with a rifle. Not marching, maybe he's heard something. Nice details on the model. I'm looking forward to painting these, actually. It's been a while since I've done anything World War II. And I thought it'd be rude not to put together one of the dog handlers. So there he is. Again, I just did one with a Car 98. And there's the dog. I need to add a little bit of liquid green stuff to the neck there. So I've just pulled that out a little bit, so I'll sort that out in a minute. But you get the idea. Now, I did just have to trim the side of the pudding base on the dog there, but it does, to be fair, in the instructions it recommends you do that, so you can fit them both on the same base. So very, very easy to put together. I stuck these two models together in about 2-3 minutes. So just have a look over the sprue, just make sure you know which parts you want to use, and go for it. So there we go. There is a quick look at a couple of the models. Okay, so there we are. There is the unboxing for 0200 Hours, Night Raids in World War II. I really enjoyed actually going through the components. I don't very often do unboxings, so to do one where it's actually like a really, nice compact set, which is what I like, that's ideal. Now, if you go over to the Grey Fanal Games website, you can pre-order this starter set along with a whole host of other material. If you've got loads of World War II figures already, because a lot of people do, you can just order effectively the rulebook and the tokens, so just the vitals of what you need to play without the miniatures. You can also just get the PDF rulebook and a number of other bundles, including some of the future expansions that are coming out, and they're coming out on release as well. Also, if you're interested, have a look over there, have a look at the PDF rules, and if that offer is still going on where you subscribe and get a PDF rulebook, go for it. What have you got to lose? Have a look at the rules and see if it's something that you think you'll enjoy. I'm impressed with the box. I'm pleased with everything I've seen so far, but obviously the real test will come with some gaming, which is what we're going to be looking at next. So I need to get the rest of the models stuck together. I need to get them painted, because everyone knows that painted models perform better on the tabletop, and then I need to sort out a game. So keep your eyes peeled for more content on 0200 Hours. Other than that, if you guys have got any questions, maybe it's something I didn't cover or something you want to know in more detail, pop it down below in the comments. If you like the video, give it a like, and of course, if you want to be kept abreast of any more content from 0200 Hours or anything else I'm doing, then why not consider subscribing. I think there's an alert thing. I don't know how you do that. Everyone says it. Click that alert bell. If I've got an alert bell, click it, and when another video goes up, you might know about it. You might not. I don't know if I have one. Anyway, be sure to go and check out 0200 Hours website. They've got a very active Facebook page as well, and I will see you guys again in the next one, which will probably involve me losing a game of 0200 Hours. Guys, take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.